This text does not aim to confine you within a stereotypical framework. Rather, it seeks to present the perspective of a man attempting to grapple with the definition of womanhood. It is essential to recognize that man should not unilaterally define woman, and no presumption of guilt should arise from engaging with this discussion. Nonetheless, I have found the task of defining womanhood to be fraught with complexity. Various influences have guided me on how to approach this subject, often leading to conflicting perspectives. Growing up, I was exposed through media, news, and educational systems to the notion that women's safety was compromised in the presence of men. This exposure led me to internalize the idea that my very existence as a male carried an inherent presumption of guilt. Consequently, I came to believe that simply being around a woman made me a potential threat. Furthermore, I am not merely shaped by traditional notions of masculinity. My identity is also influenced by variables such as physical appearance, hair color, cultural background, and other factors that may amplify the perceived threat I represent. This internalization resulted in a distorted self-concept, where my identity was constructed based on external definitions rather than self-discovery. I learned about myself through the labels assigned to me, rather than understanding my own place in the world. This process of external definition left me confused about the essence of being human. Naturally, I conformed to the identity that society prescribed for me. I became what I was told I was, bad, because I internalized these external judgments. I often ponder how my identity might have evolved differently if I had been imbued with different attributes. My understanding was further shaped by psychological, sociological, and gender studies, which suggested that women interpret internalized ideologies based on their experience of trauma and societal roles. This led to a belief that gender differences are a result of assigned roles rather than biological determinism. I contend that while inherent differences exist, they are not necessarily default attributes, but are often shaped by societal expectations. These expectations have been imposed upon me before birth, teaching me that the notion of equality was an ideological construct rather than an inherent fact. I was not equal to others by default. I became what I was perceived to be based on how I interacted with those around me. My behavior, and thus my identity, was shaped by how others understood me as a boy. It is important to acknowledge that not all adults who influenced me were at fault. They imparted values they believed to be correct, which were shaped by their own upbringing. My understanding of manhood remains a work in progress. What I continue to learn daily is the essence of being human. The concept of being a man is secondary to this understanding. Through this lens, I strive to recognize the human experience in others before the labels imposed upon them.